Let's go. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second webinar of the Cannaponics campaign. My name is Emily McFarlane, and I'm the Senior Campaign Lead here at Birchal. And just before I introduce these very friendly faces, Ken and Rod, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land from which I'm beaming from you today. Birchal is based on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and we pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. So as I mentioned, today I've got with me Ken and Rod from Cannaponics. In case a few of you are new to crowdsource funding, Birchal is working with Cannaponics on their crowdsource funding offer, which is now live and open for investments. So a few of you might know crowdsource funding or equity crowdfunding. For those of you who don't, it's a relatively new form of fundraising in Australia that allows startups and small businesses to raise capital from a large number of smaller or retail investors, as well as wholesale investors. And in this case, Birchal Financial Services are the licensed intermediary for the offer. And before I continue on, I just want to remind everybody who is listening today that the information and discussion in this webinar is for informational purposes and should not be considered as advice or a recommendation to invest. So please ensure you do your own research and always consider the offer document and general CSF risk warning before investing. If you do need any more information, please head over to birchal.com. Now, today's session, we had so many questions at the last Cannaponics webinar, and we thought it'd be a really great opportunity to open up the floor for everybody who has more questions around this incredible offer that we've got live on the platform. So if you've got any questions, please feel free to pop them in the Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom screen, and we'll try to get through as many as we possibly can today. We did run out of time last time, but if you do have any after the session, or maybe you've forgotten what your question was today, you are welcome to reach out to the team via their Birchal profile. There is a message button there for you. We're also going to be recording today's session, so if you do have to jump off early, our recording will be sent around. So welcome, guys. Nice to have you here again.
Thanks, Emily. As you already said, Rod Zakostelsky here, founder, and Kenneth Lenford, Director of Cultivation. Obviously, we're in the middle of a campaign. I think we've got 9 days to go, or eight days and 9 hours actually, which is pretty exciting. We've hit some huge milestones in our journey thus far. I think we've raised the most amount of money this year in 24 for any crowdfunding source, and I think we just broke the record nationally for any one company to have raised the amount of money that we've raised. So we're pretty proud of that, and for us, it's just about delivering the project and value for our shareholders. So without any time wasted, I don't know if you've got any questions there, Emily. We're happy to answer them.
Absolutely. So I'd love to know a little bit of an overview for you guys. What have you achieved since your last capital raise when we saw you last year versus now? And what are you looking to raise funds for in this round of investment?
Yeah, for sure. Big question. We've done so much actually. As far as on site, the last raise we did, heck, I mean, greenhouse is almost completed. All the concrete's gone in, lights are gone in, benches are going in. We've had mains power from Western Power turned on, which we're not using any of it to date yet. But we've had all the concrete poured for the head house and the water technical shed. All the walls have stood up. The roof's gone on. We're currently fitting out the internal panels for all the clean rooms as we speak. Built a 15 million litre dam that's full of water, because as Kenneth said last time, it's enough water for about, I think, 16 months of production if we don't get any more rain. And for everyone out there that's in WA, we know we are experiencing a lot of rain at the moment, which is fantastic. I think we've spent around about, I don't know off the top of my head, around about $8 million since the last raise. And obviously this current raise here now, we're aiming to, we want to achieve $3 million, and that'll allow us to to complete the project and have our machineries validated and turned on in a orderly fashion, or in a quicker process than what we normally would. So yeah, basically to finish off the program, we believe we've got about 23, 24 weeks left in the program to have it completed. That's yeah, and we'll spend around about $7 to $8 million in the next 6 months. And obviously, the money raised with the Birchal is involved in that, and we've got funding elsewhere to make that shortfall, so to speak. Is there anything else I missed? No, it's good. Yeah.
Awesome. And at this stage, when is the plant looking to be live and producing product?
Well, again, around 22 to 24 weeks, where if we don't have any hang-ups, any majors, 2024, we're in discussions now with the authorities to have the facility permitted at a particular date, and then we'll just be in constant consultation with the authorities to make sure that our dates align with their dates, and then hopefully, we're looking October, November in 2024.
Great. And is that the same date that you'll be looking to have products to market?
Oh no, not at all. There's obviously a process. So we want our products to market for at least 4 to 6 months after that. So it won't be just to March, April, May in 2025.
And can you give a little bit of an overview of what your product portfolio will look like at that stage?
Yeah, for sure. Do you want to answer some questions, Kath, or want me to keep going?
You're doing fantastic, but really, our first products to market are dry flower. It's as simple as that, and it's a range of dry flower where there are voids in the industry. We want to fill those voids, so that's what we'll be looking to do first, and that in conjunction with those plants being grown for the dry flower, we will be validating all of the machinery that we've talked about, and that will allow us to bring broad spectrum resin on board, and then further dilute that into finished goods. But that'll be 6 to 8 months after first harvest of production.
Great. I know in our last webinar, there are a lot of questions around the specific strains that you'll be producing. Can you give a little bit more information on that?
I'd say yes and no, because we're in a situation where, like we said, we're a solution to the industry. So the products that are in demand with the companies that we have LOIs, MOUs, and offtake agreements with will be producing what it is they want us to produce. We always plan to maintain a stock of original and heretofore unavailable genetics within the Australian market. But the first products that are going to go to market are the ones that are in demand right now and being distributed by current existing distributors. And then, as we gain that, trust in the market and knowledge base, and present some of the other flower arrangements that are available, then those things will start to hit the market as well.
This question popped up quite a few times in your last webinar around how people can get in touch with you in terms of job opportunities at Cannaponics. Is there a way that they can get in touch with you?
Yeah, definitely. Info at Cannaponics. If you're really smart, you could probably just put my name or Kenneth's name in front of @Cannaponics, and we'd get it directly. But by all means, reach out. From plant touching experience to no experience. We're going to. There is somewhat of a combination crisis in Collie at the moment, but there's plenty of towns nearby, Bunbury and whatnot, that have plenty of accommodation and people drive to and from. But we welcome all applications,
including some inexperienced people. Don't think that you have to have a plethora of experience in order to be able to apply. Apply all the same. We hire for attitude, we train for skill, we promote on performance. So you never know, you might just be a great fit.
Awesome. So I seem to remember this question coming in through our last webinar. In terms of the medicinal cannabis industry as a whole, would you consider it to be a pull or push industry in the sense that are doctors asking for CBD-based products, or do cannabis companies need to incentivize them to push the products?
Okay, so what's the question? Well, I mean, well, it's obviously patient-centric for sure. I don't think any doctor should be pushing any products. Is that what you mean? Is that as far as?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
I think that there's always going to be a situation where exists where whether it's coming from the patient through the doctor or from the doctor directly, there's always that pull of what they want in their direction. And then there are always, different flower and spectrum and stuff like that, that those of us who have been doing it for a long time, working with patients one-on-one, have all of that historical data that says, look, this is what's missing from your portfolio. We really think that you should be offering this. And it's definitely, it's just a two-way street, and you have to learn how to navigate it.
And there's so, it's a cliche comment, but there's so much research that needs to be done. It's ever evolving. So as and there's companies out there, involved in drug discovery and whatnot, and it's very expensive to do research and drug development and whatnot. And we're not going down that path at all, but there's still a hugely untapped plant, which is very exciting. Where we're currently sitting in the market and the timeline of this industry, we're at the forefront of it. So there's a huge pathway and growth coming our way over the next 5, 10, 20, 40 years, we believe. Yeah.
Awesome. So I know you've spoken a bit around the team and people really want to get involved in working with Cannaponics. Can you give a bit of an overview of the team that you currently have and how they contribute? I know you've got some extra specialists that you've brought onto the team since your last raise.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we've really gifted. It's really pleasing that the people that are around us, everybody that's involved in the company is a shareholder. From Dr. Michael Newen, who's a professor, is one of the leading cardiologists in the country, to clinical pharmacist Will Saff, to our regulatory affairs lady, to another Professor Hang.
She's spectacular, by the way. I can't say enough about how much I've enjoyed working with Lee since she joined the team. I have a lot of experience navigating the regulations in Canada, with a number of different regulatory people and personnel at different companies who have been my clients over the years. But Lee, having worked for some first movers in the space, really has that experience that we need and want. And it's been spectacular to go through our SOPs and plans and different things, and the relationship that she already has and is continuing to build with the ODC is just spectacular for Cannaponics.
Yeah, and call them foot soldiers or call them the real workers. The people on site too, we've had some people there for a couple of years now, managing the site and maintaining everything and working in conjunction with construction workers and whatnot, and keeping everybody safe. And it really is an honour to be, and I'll say that obviously as the founder, but to be part of this company. And I'm just a custodian really to shareholders to make sure that we deliver the company in a fashionable manner, that everyone gets a happy return.
Yeah, I don't think enough can be said for our site manager, Dino. He's fantastic. I mean, he's got the keys to the facility right now. We're here doing, other tasks that need to be managed at the moment. And he keeps site running like a well-oiled machine. And it's unbelievable to have people who are passionate and care about the company, but also that you can trust to look after things day to day. So it's been really good for Cannaponics that way.
Yeah, we don't have anyone that's not a shareholder. It's in the whole company.
No, exactly.
Yeah, it's great. It's but still, we need probably another like full-time employees up to probably 35 or 40 in the next 6 months. So
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be a big push, and we're constantly working on it as well too, from top to bottom. Yeah, very exciting, but challenging as well too. Obviously, it presents a whole new set of circumstances and challenges and workflows and methodologies and whatnot for us to make sure that we can deliver on our word. So
yeah, of course. I mean, obviously shareholders are super important to you. For people who are considering becoming a shareholder in this round, what are the key exciting things that, come about if you are a shareholder for Cannaponics? What does that mean?
Oh, I think it's well, one, we call it a family, but I mean, like I keep saying it, and I don't know if it's a broken record, but I do really believe, as far as, sure, it's not going to be a walk in the park, but we're one of few with everything we have on site, and the personnel and the location and the infrastructure, and I mean, you got to remember we brought the block of land 4 years ago. It was just an empty paddock, and 2.5 years ago we started construction. 3 years ago we obviously started some earthworks, but you look at it now, it's unbelievable where we've come from and where we are now, and to see the fact that we've chosen the huge audacious task of swimming across the ocean, and where we can see the land in sight. So it's exciting now for people to be joining in on that, and seeing the better end of the business, and having that short journey to success. So no, we welcome anyone that wants to get involved and be part of a company that's solely Australian owned, and providing jobs for Australians, and leveraging off industries. And it's actually currently we're in a Australia Week at the moment, I think, which is the Made in Australia program that's currently running. So it's fitting that we're involved in this webinar, involved in our current raise, that it coincides with Australian made products, and that's what we're all about. Australian jobs, Australian products.
Yeah, and the other thing that comes with it is, you can be proud of being a part owner and a part of a team that is building a company that puts patients, the planet, and our shareholders first.
Absolutely. And I think that's really key, that we've seen that in your messaging, and it's such a thing to be proud of for investors, for sure. So
look, it's not easy. Sometimes that's what leads to, look, if we're guilty of one thing, it's that the project has taken longer than we had hoped that it would. But I promise you, a lot of that has to do with making the right decisions and the best decisions for the patients and the shareholders going forward. There's ways that we probably could have fast-tracked things or half-assed things, as it could have been said in a different terminology, but we're not about that. We want to do what's right for Cannaponics every single time we make a decision. And if that slows us down a little bit, so be it, because there's a finish line that we want to get to. There's not an arbitrary line that we want to get to. There's a specific destination that, we're trying to get to with everybody. So let's keep that in mind.
And, and not everyone knows until, but there's things like all our roads on site, it's gravel from our gravel pit. You know what I mean? We've got resources, 160 acres. We have, I don't know, hundreds of tons, like I think it's I don't know, 40,000 tons of gravel that we've got there to make any more roads. With sand, we have a huge sand resource that we've used for construction as well, and dam that we've built. I mean, all that costs millions of dollars for anybody else that's building something like we've built. We've been very fortunate to we can call it good management, but there's obviously some timing and some luck involved in it. But
the amount of times that we've manned up, so to speak, and did things ourselves when other companies could have helped us at a premium price, and we said, no, you know what, we can take 2 weeks and do it ourselves and save a ton of investor money. Those are the things that happen behind the scenes that not everybody is privy to. So
yeah, and we're very proud of that internally, extremely proud of it. Anything that comes our way in quotes, anything to do with what we're doing, building, fitting out, we always really meticulously look at it, and other ways that we can do it to save money. And we feel that that's all we've put in place now. We've been fortunate enough to be guilty of it dragging out a little bit longer than what we first anticipated, and we don't shy away from that. But the facts remain, we own everything and we have no debt at all. Oh, sorry, we have a couple of utes. and a tractor, but we own everything on site. There's
That we beat the snot out of and utilize like to no end.
well, yours is 12 months old. He's got 120,000 Ks on it. Anyway, we're digressing, but next question.
Yeah.
No worries. I think this is on a similar vein, and it's around your financials that can be found in the offer document. Around the half of the losses coming in at employee costs. Do you expect this to stabilize at some point?
Yeah, well, it's only going to stabilise once we get some revenue, isn't it? Yeah, we can't
Yeah,
really,
absolutely.
look, it's a challenge every company faces. The mitigation for that is that we've purchased really well with our equipment. With automated trimming machines and automated drying machines and closed loop extraction machines that require very little staff. So also the renewables that we are so proud of, with energy saving and water harvesting. So yeah, definitely, for sure. I mean, we feel that once obviously revenue starts coming in, a lot of that will peter out, and it'll be realised the immense savings and smart buying that we've been able to achieve. It'll show through, but it's challenging in any business, not just in this industry.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is we've had a few questions on the last webinar around this, and it's on return on investment, financial forecasting, and what exit strategies look like. So for those of you who might be a little bit unfamiliar with crowdsource funding, you should consider an investment in a company at this early stage as medium to medium to long term. So you're purchasing shares in what's called an unlisted, a publicly unlisted or privately listed company. So these are generally considered illiquid. So they're not traded on a public exchange such as the ASX. So you're not able to easily transfer the shares or sell them when you would like to, like if you had something on the ASX. And as many of the companies that make a CSF offer are relatively new or early stage, or might be rapidly growing ventures, there's usually many years of hard work ahead to grow the business, execute the strategy. So it can be a little bit difficult to therefore, put a date on expected returns or a date on an expected exit. But there's various events or ways that you can receive a return on your investment. For example, Cannaponics might one day undertake an IPO and list on a securities exchange like the ASX. They might undertake an exit event like a sale of the company. You might transfer your shares to a third party and the price of the shares is agreed. The company might declare dividends. The company might undertake a share buyback scheme. There's lots of scenarios where this can happen, but at this stage, it's really difficult for companies to actually give the forecasts in that way. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense and answers a few people's questions around that area, because I know this has come up a few times. So please let me know, everybody, if you need any further clarity on that. I'm super happy to help you out, or you can always reach out to us at support@birchal.com if you've got any more questions as well. So at this stage, obviously it is early stage, but how are you gathering data from your potential clients, and how is that influencing your decision making when creating these products that you'll be creating by the end of the year?
Yeah. So we got to make it clear that for us, everything's locked in for a B2B company. We're going to be basically manufacturing for other companies. Down the track, yeah, for sure, we'll be venturing down that way, but we have to be certain. And you want certainty as well when you're investing in something. We have to be certain of our pathway, our true north. And our true north is, we're manufacturing something for a certain price and we're selling it for a certain price. That's locked in. Sure, there are other ways to increase those margins and have a bigger benefit for all parties concerned. But we have to be steadfast and focused on our true north, because there's a lot of shiny things out there, and we can still talk about them, but we believe that our business methodology and our way forward is in sync with what we feel as our growth trajectory, where it's going to be, forecasting and whatnot. So I mean, but you know, we can talk about potential products down the track and whatnot if we want to go there. Do we want to go there? Or?
No, we don't.
Okay.
I think what you're saying is the truth, which is we have a plan. We have established relationships with lots of the players in the industry. There is a high demand for what we're going to put out, and we're just going to make sure that we deliver on those things. And if we do, we're a very successful and profitable company that way. Of course, there are a million new delivery systems and new innovations and products that we're always working on and have been working on for years that will come to fruition down the track. But like Rod said, there's a lot of shiny things out in the world. And if you get distracted by one, you can be distracted by 10. And if you're distracted by 10, you can be distracted by a million. And the next thing you know, you're not looking after what was going to pay the bills in the first place. And we're not about that.
And that comes from maturity with age and experience, because sure, we've been guilty of looking at too many shiny things and wanting to be everything to everybody, but that's a short pathway to disaster.
Yeah.
For us, we want to be successful and stick to the path chosen. We have a lot of smart people around us, like really, really smart people around us. We have some very strong relations, and we're going to deliver on that. And then from there, we have opportunity and options to venture into other areas down the track. But first and foremost, it's to get revenue in the door and get the cost down as much as possible and get our margins at an acceptable level before we talk about or go into any other ventures.
Yeah, not to oversimplify it, but we're a hamburger company. Are we going to offer chicken nuggets someday? Maybe. Maybe. But how about we get the burgers right?
Love it. Thanks, guys. In terms of the management team and directors, is anybody on that team that have a successful track record of taking companies to listing or successful exits?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Look, we get asked all the time. We get brokers there all the time as well, wanting us to list and whatnot and carry on. But no, we have, yeah, definitely. I mean, you've only got to Google Dr. Michael Newen, what he's a part of, and even Will, our CFO, has been a part of some massive companies and listed entities. And you know, there's consultants that we're involved in all the time. Our lawyers have listed hundreds of companies and taken them to IPO. But like you said earlier, for us, it's we're focused on building the business, getting to a strong position where we can have options to choose. And you've already discussed, you know, the several ways for liquidity for shareholders, and we'll be partaking in one of those or all of those at some particular time.
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I was the founding partner of Peace Naturals. We sold to Kronos for a premium, and then they did an IPO raise and raised a ton of money. I was called into other companies to fix production operations, and then those companies were sold for significant amounts of money. I've also gone into companies that were in bankruptcy protection and changed their operations for them and got them back to profitability and got them out of that situation. So yeah, we've a solid team, and I took most of my compensation in shares. So if that matters to anybody, it should.
It does. Committed.
It should.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We're obviously 22-year veteran here, and some of the people that he's employed work beside him and underneath him. It's amazing to say the least. Yeah, just for us, we just can't wait to get get it built and get into production.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Have you guys considered how government regulations might affect your company going forward?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. We've some would say we've probably spent too much time and money on learning all of that and making sure that we're future-proof to our company, so that if anything does change in the future, that we won't be left out in the cold. But we believe whatever way it goes, in any fashion, I'm not sure what the question is directed at, but it's probably directed at, you know, will the laws be lightened you know, will it be available for anyone else to go down this path? I mean, most of our equipment that we have on site, it's all underutilized for what we can put through it. So, you know, we encourage other companies to get involved and in this industry. You know, we've gone down the path of being, you know, almost, you know, a seed to sale, you know, manufacturing and cultivation. So we have the capacity to support other parts of the industry if people want to get involved in it. So, and if the laws change in any particular fashion where it becomes easier access and whatnot, again, we've set ourselves up in a good position that we should be able to navigate any of that. And if anything, it's probably going to enhance what we've built.
Yeah, I don't want to speak to anything specifically, but I don't see any legislative change that is going to negatively impact Cannaponics.
Great. That's good news for investors.
Yeah.
So do you currently have any plans to stay ahead of any potential competitors?
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah.
In what sense? Like,
Yeah, I know.
Who are we ahead of at the moment? We're not even in production yet. I mean, that's not to say that we're not holding some IP and or experience over some of the people in the marketplace, but it's tough to talk about being so far ahead of the competition when we're not producing product. But
and it's not something you think about today anyway. You think about it 1 year, or 2 years, or 5 years ago, you know, and we've enhanced in that as far as spoken about regularly about what we've built, the future proofing of our block of land, our facility, our infrastructure, our personnel.
I think it's safer to say we have a very thoughtful approach to how we built the company, and the cost of goods that we're able to achieve and the quality that we're able to deliver and the consistency, our modular, you know, repeatable process. We're going to push the industry forward. I don't think it's about staying ahead of our competition so much as we can drive the entire industry forward. And then as a producer, we'll reap those awards indefinitely.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. So going forward, obviously everything for you guys is Australian made, Australian grown, and, you know, utilizing Australian resources. How do you intend to compete on production costs with products that are coming from other countries such as South America or South Africa?
It's power, water, labor. Those are the major inputs. Our water's free, our power is subsidized through solar, and our labor is enhanced through innovative technology and automation. So yeah, we'll be okay. Look, I've operated facilities in the most expensive place to produce medicinal cannabis on earth, and that's Canada. Indoor facilities in Canada, it's a harsh climate in the winter. We do get hot summers. There's crazy strain put on the machinery up there. And you know, I don't remember the last time that I produced a gram that I couldn't sell for the price that I asked for.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think that that came up in the last webinar, you know, the quality of the product that's coming from Canada for sure. So it's good to know that we're producing such quality actual product here in Australia with natural resources. So that's a really exciting.
I think people are going to be surprised what a difference it makes to have fresh product for one, to have non-irradiated product as another, and then have some of the variety that we're going to bring to the table as well.
Yeah, awesome for sure. So moving forward after this raise, what does the next 6 months look like for Cannaponics?
Long days.
I was going to say, staring at the floor, head down, bum up, work.
Yeah.
I'm taking a sleeping bag to the facility.
Yeah, there's just so much going on. It's just, you know, with different trades, you know, coming in, going out, and getting it built.
Look, it's internals coming in, it's wires being run, it's you know, sensors and automated processes being set up, camera and security being installed, and then getting the ODC on site, getting that permit ticked, and then planting, growing, hustle until we get to that first harvest finish line. And then it all just starts again. And it's just, you know,
Yeah, it's going to be exciting next 6 months for sure. Our newsletters will be very, very. They'll be changing. I mean, the site's changing at a weekly. Every week now there's something new going on. It's a new piece of machinery has been put in. It's new things getting built, stood up. The logistics of finding accommodation for people, logistics of truckloads of equipment. We've had, I don't know, I think it's 5 sea containers arrived of steel and the other day for officers and whatnot. Yeah, it's extremely busy, and it's arguing over with the builder about prices and time delays, and sometimes I call myself a fireman. We're always putting out fires. It's construction's tough. It's for us, everything's locked in though. We're very fortunate that I think every contract's been put out. Now it's just a matter of everyone fitting in together. I don't think there's any other. There's nothing. I think things like epoxy flooring is the only contract we haven't given out yet. But other than that, it's
that's what we're going to do it ourselves.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, so there's a lot of work. Yeah, it's exciting though. It's it's to see something come to life and get into production is our number one true north.
100%. I think it's a really exciting time for Cannaponics and an equally exciting time for investors who are getting involved at this early stage. And I understand this is the last opportunity for investors to get involved before you launch the facility. Is that right?
Well, yeah. Once we're generating revenue, we put forward a business plan that will be a profitable company, and we can self-finance new ventures from here on out. I think most companies should work that way.
Yeah, for sure. Well, 8 days and 8 hours is what's left to invest. We're almost halfway there at the moment now, so get involved. Obviously, last time we did a raise, we were oversubscribed by a substantial amount. A lot of people missed out. So I'm just a big believer in if you make a decision, make it, move forward. If you're not sure, it's a no. Do something else. It's
100%. I've just popped the link for the Cannaponics profile in the chat box. So if anybody does have any further questions, please head to the Birchal website where you can ask them of either the Birchal team or the Cannaponics team. You can also read the offer document and get all the information you need. As the boys have said, we've got a finite time left to get involved in this offer before it closes out. There is a potential that it could close early if it does hit its maximum of $3 million before the allocated timeframe. So that's open for everybody. Please let us know if you need anything at all. If we've missed any questions, we're happy to answer them. But thank you so much for your time, Rod and Ken. It's been an absolute pleasure as usual.
No, thank you, Emily, and for everyone that's jumped on, or anyone that's going to watch the recording. We appreciate the support, and as I said earlier, if you're on the fence, walk away. If you made a decision, get involved, and we look forward to delivering this project. And we're not at the forefront of it by any stretch of the imagination, but I believe what we've put together is quite unique, and we've covered a lot of bases to future-proof our company, and also to be a big part of the industry moving forward. Kenneth, any closing statements, mate?
Yeah, I think once we deliver on all the things that are the foundation of what we're doing, we've got some pretty exciting things in the pipeline. At least I do in my mind, and I'm excited about those things. But anyone who thinks they're keen, even maybe joining us or coming to work for us, info@cannaponics.com.au. And we'll suss that out from there. But really appreciate everybody's interest. Really appreciate everyone's involvement, investment. Really appreciate your time, Emily. Thanks for doing this for us.
Yeah, and a big shout out to Birchal as well too. They've been great throughout the whole process as well. So
yeah,
we try our best. Awesome. Thanks so much, guys. We'll chat soon.
All right.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Cheers. Ciao.